Hello, CQ, CQ, CQ. Calling CQ 160 AM, Old Friends Net. This is N4LQ, November 4, Lima, Quebec. Name is Steve, Shelby, North Carolina. Net meets here every night at 8 p.m. 1864 kilocycles, and we are AM only. Hope we can get some check-ins tonight. So, those wishing to check in, please call N4LQ.
Hertz rents cars, W4JPL.
K4QE.
WB4NKL.
That's got to be Mirror.
WFT Whiskey Foxtrot 2 uniform.
There's Mirror. Okay. Saw a carrier there, but then you came on. All right. Let's see. WF2U. All right. Here's what I got so far. N4LQ, W4JPL, K4QE, WB4NKL, and WF2U. All right, Mirror. Let's see if there's anybody else. Okay. What was that about Hertz rents cars? Go ahead, John. W4JPL, N4LQ.
N4LQ, W4JPL. I was just making a comment about, we're on 1864 kilocycles. We don't do Hertz because Hertz rents cars. It is a very cold 28 degrees out, and went to church today and fiddled around with a bunch of stuff, and I finally got some heat shrink tubing in because mine's put away for now. I'm going to get back to work on that 3:03 in the morning. K4QE, W4JPL.
All right. Good evening, Steve, John, Cliff, and Mayor. This is K4QE. It turns out I can't stay very long. I am being summoned upstairs. I got to help my son with a school assignment. He's got computer classes in college and needs the old man's help. So I wanted to get in here and say good evening. And I don't know how long I'm going to be, but I'll try to get back before the net's over. So count me out unless I come back, Steve. Just cross me out and you can uncross me later. Over to you, Cliff. WB4NKL, K4QE.
Okay, Tony, K4QE, WB4NKL. Well, I'm not going to stay around too long. I've got shop here's 55. It's 24 outside, so struggling. Heat pump has been struggling here at this building. I sure will try to get something going by next season anyway, at a heated ham shack and a workbench. So I'll stick around for a while. Go ahead, Mirror, WF2U, WB4NKL.
Yeah, Roger, WB4NKL. And the group, this is WF2U. Good evening, everybody. Now we have two Saipans with carrier on an AM, real AM transmitter. I'm using the military GRC. Hold on one second, Mike. The XYL called me by mistake. Anyway, so I'm using the GRC 19 setup, which is a Collins Auto-Tune HF transmitter, the T195, and the Collins R392 receiver, and it's all powered with a nice hefty 60 amp 28 volt supply. And the microphone, I have no choice. This is the original carbon microphone. It's called the M80 something, and that's what it is. The antenna is the usual 160 meter end-fed half wave, and putting out just about 90 watts carrier. So, back to you, Steve. Everybody's phone here. The S reader does not write. It does not read that unit, so it's useless anyway for input. And M4LQ, WFQ.
Roger, Roger, WF2U N4LQ. Is there anybody else would like to check in tonight? Okay, well, that's doing pretty good, Mayor. I mean, it's so far it sounds a lot better than those underwater rice boxes or whatever they are. Got both side bands, and your modulation is adequate and kicking up there pretty good. So congratulations on the military thing. A carbon mic, I wouldn't have guessed. It doesn't really sound like a carbon mic to me. Now that thing that Mark had on today, IUQ, it sounded like a carbon mic, and I can see on the spectrum, the audio spectrum, that no lows and no highs, or what is it? Oh, it's no highs and no lows. It sounds like you're holding your nose. There you go. Gosh, I just thought up a good one, didn't I? But I'm on the Valiant tonight, running 120 watts of AM. My LMAX 67 decided to act up on me. For some reason, I started to load it up tonight on 160, and I could only get about 2 watts out of it and very little play current. I said, well, it's doing it again. So something, I banged on it, nothing happened. So I don't know. Went back to 80, doing the same thing up on 80, and hadn't touched it since the net. It went all the way through the old friends net, fortunately, and survived, and now it's acting up again. So let's see, JPL, John, sorry you had to leave, and you guys need to get a Bluetooth, hook it up, so you can walk around the house and help with homework and all that. But Cliff, maybe you can go get you one of those canopy tents with the sides on it and just set that up over the rig and drop the sides down and put a heater in it. I bet you that'd make a world of difference. Might get you through to next year anyway, but I know you want to do it right, but I guess you could always use that thing in a ham fest or something like that later on. Speaking of heat shrink tubing, reminds me of the time I was at the Shelby Hamfest when it was at Dallas, and some guy had heat shrink tubing laid out in the sun, and it was a hot day, and he was trying to sell it, and I told him, I said, that stuff's going to all shrink before you can even sell it. He said, oh, okay, I didn't think of that. And he covered it up. Okay, so anyway, go ahead, Cliff, WB4NKL, N4LQ.
I'm still here as Tony went away.
Oh, I thought you, okay. What caused me to think that? Go ahead, John.
Hi, I'd like to introduce myself. I'm W4JPL. My name is John. I live in Liberty, and I also live in a state of confusion. That's what state I live in. Yeah, it's just another day in paradise here. It's cold out. I didn't do much anything today. I'm looking at this video, and I watch them sometimes, of, it's called Snow Driving Fails Winter Car Crash Compilation. This is from Russia. I've come to the conclusion that these people, number one, are colorblind, because they're always running red lights, and I'm thinking, well, maybe that's Greensboro. Number two, they have no peripheral vision. They can't, because they're always making left-hand turns from the right-hand lane in a car, coming down the left-hand lane, invariably creams them. It's frightening to watch this video. So that's what I'm doing. I'll give it to Tony if he's still in there. If not, Cliff, I guess you could pick it up, buddy. K4QE, W4JPL.
Yeah, I think Tony was the one that was heading out. Maybe would be back. It's WB4NKL. Okay, Steve. Well, the good news is after tonight, I think the weather's going to be pretty decent for a while. So if I can make it through till tomorrow, it's supposed to be up in the 40s, I believe, and in the 50s. It's it's a climbing there the rest of the week. So looking forward to it. I'm tired of this winter weather wonderland. We've had about 2 or 3 inches of snow that's laying out here, and I don't think it's changed a bit in 4 days. It just lays there. It never did get above freezing today. So tomorrow will be in the 40s, or supposed to get to about 40, I think. Good deal on the pre-shrunk tubing. Yeah, I don't know what. I guess you could use it for spaghetti. Be the only use of that pre-shrunk tubing. I seen your message there about the ham study site. I went on there online there and looked at that and brought up one of the extra class test sample test, and I'd have to study. I went down through it and I was getting about half of them. I think extra class has changed a lot in 50 years. Seems like it don't look too much like the one I took, so I'd have to do some studying to pass that thing now. Good deal on your T195 transmitter, Mayor. I've got a couple of R392s, but I never have had one of the transmitters that goes with them. I think that uses some ceramic tubes in the outputs. What I'm thinking, but I never did mess with one. But sounds pretty good. It seemed like you had a little more audio when you was on the old friends net on 3715. Seems like the audio is a little weaker here for some reason, but it might just be conditions. Go ahead, Mayor. W2 News, WB4NKL.
Trying to break in here. Somebody's weak. Is there anybody there?
Yeah, I'm trying to be N4YN. Just in case they phone.
N4YN. Yeah, you're down the band a little bit, Don. But I heard you on there. We'll put you on the list here, and you will go next after Mir. Okay, so go ahead, Mir, and then turn it over to N4YN.
Roger, I can barely hear, so I thought it was maybe some kind of a signal bleeding somewhere. Anyway, yeah, good copy, everybody. No problems at all. And the business is relatively quiet. I think I forgot that this microphone is really not sensitive. I guess it's not even picking up the fan noise from inside the tune of 195 because it's really hot. It's really very loud. That's why I forget that I practically have to swallow the mic element. The exact model number is the M29B. M29B. It's interchangeable or removable carbon element. You pull it out, and plug it in. You pull it out, 6 out from the sun, pull it out and plug in another. Anyway, that's the situation here. So, yeah, but the T195 is really a nice transmitter. Sometimes it's a little fussy and certain things are out of whack. Sometimes the diodes in the phase detector or the auto tune are dead, so it's not going to tune up. There is no way to manually tune up the tanks or anything. By the way, Steve, the carrier that you heard in this fault, I came in a little bit late and just had to zero on you and then press the auto initiation and it puts out the little carrier picking itself up. I don't even need to use the antenna for it. So that's the story. But again, everybody's great. So inform YN. Go ahead. This is WN to you.
How you doing? Thanks, Paul. Yes, sir. What they were the breakers together would work, but it's on double loads had to be on that antenna. And got lucky. Not too bad off on it. It's got the oil thing. This is kind of a joke, I guess. Working this band, I guess it's the only thing I got. I don't know, well, 991, you know, here with AM, I don't have anything else. Everybody seems to be pretty good. Here's him good. Steve, you're taking the major. I'm running 170. ATD transmitter, it's like about 45 watts or something like that. Cliff, go ahead. All right, get your turn out. I don't know exactly who's size 2 or 3 of it.
Okay, N4YN, N4LQ. Don, I had a little trouble. You're moving around so fast up and down the band, I couldn't spin the knob fast enough to keep up with it, and I switched over to pure AM mode. Got a little bit of it, but I don't know, your frequency keeps moving and you don't have a lot of modulation. And on top of that, you're weak. I don't know what the problem is. What is that rig? What is that rig that you're running? Over?
ATD transmitter by Bandage. You got the slobber in the microphone for one thing. And, yeah, I see one. And it's because it's drifting, just because I'm turning the dial, trying to figure out which way to go. That's the wrong way. So I guess I'm going to be lucky if I get within the KC, which is about where I'm at now, I guess. Anyhow, I didn't use this thing much, as you can tell. like I said, I have to slobber in the microphone, and I think I'm going to live a hypercation. How about it, Steve?
Okay, I'm getting the hang out of tuning you in here. Yeah, once you stop moving around, I can get you in AM mode. But you're like, that's all lower sideband, which is kind of interesting. It's a Bendix rig of some sort, and it's all lower sideband, which usually the stuff Mir comes up with is upper sideband of Bendix. Anyway, we kind of got some of it there anyway. Well, okay. Well, keep it up. You know, we'll get you going here in a minute. Let's see, where are we at? Snow driving, Russians driving in snow. I don't know. I see so many videos about wrecks and stuff. I mean, all you gotta do is go to YouTube and put in wrecks and accidents and all that. You can sit there all day watching wrecks. These dash cams have done a good job of capturing all that. And road rage drivers and people getting chased by cops, it's really entertaining. I guess you saw that CEO of that company, I think he's up in Chicago or somewhere. Those two guys, CEOs of this big company, were giving a presentation, and they were lowering them down from a crane. They were in a yellow cage. They were lowering down on the stage, and they had fireworks going off out of the cage, and all this carrying on, big celebration. And something happened to a cable, and it dumped the CEO out on his head. The other guy is just about dead. The CEO, he died. He dropped 15 feet on his head. And they got the video. Now, the news blurred the last part out where he hit, but you can go to YouTube and watch him come straight down. It's pretty bad stuff. So yeah, real fine on the hamstudy.org. I think I might try to get through that too. I know the questions have all changed. A lot of stuff about digital operation, and probably is kind of more modern. But I'm not sure what the point on that is. And Cliff, I did send a question out about the BC1M and the dual pi network. I just wondered if that Gates that you've got has got that feature on it, a dual pi network. And supposedly it's supposed to be a way of, I guess, equalizing the tuning for each sideband instead of the carrier, so that your sidebands are equal or equalized or balanced or something. And I don't know if they're stagger tuning those or what. I couldn't find any information out in the rest of the manual about how to go about tuning that up, but it just looked like two pi networks in series. One goes to the antenna and then the other is hooked to the tube. Kind of strange, but I guess if you're critical about the audio fidelity, that would be one way to do it. I guess you put a tone on it or something like that to get your loading just right. But I've thought about my LMAC AF60 or A54. Yeah, it's got that problem pretty bad. Okay, over to you there, John. W4JPL in Liberty, North Carolina, N4LQ.
Alrighty, N4LQ in the group, W4JPL. Unfortunately, I'm not copying N4YN. Sometimes I hear him and then he's gone. I think you said he's drifting all over the place, but then you said something about lower sideband, so next time around I'll try popping this thing in at lower sideband and see if I can hear him on lower slop bucket. Yeah, tomorrow I'm looking forward to getting back to work on this NC303 to start a proper recapping. All the caps here in stock, so that should be I'll work on it a couple hours and walk away, and maybe the next day I'll work on it. I work on it until my back starts to hurt. Then I go do something else for a while. Other than that, not a lot going on. I don't got a lot of plans for this week. A friend of mine picked up a couple of Beatle albums for me. I'll have to run down towards your way to Concord, pick them up this week. Original copies of Help and a Hard Day's Night on United Artists, so and they're in mint condition. And she paid the princely price of $15 for them both. So I'm like, yes, please. So that'll add to my collection of nonsense that I've got of the Beatles. Over to you, Cliff, W4 JPL.
W4 JPL, it's WB4 NKL. Okay, that sounds interesting. Good deal on the 303. Hope you get that all straightened out. I think you'll like that receiver. Good evening to Don. Now, I never have heard of that Bendix transmitter either, Don. I'll have to look that one up. I believe you said it's an ATD, Alpha Tango Delta, I guess. And Steve, I've never messed with one of the RCA transmitters. I had never heard of that either. The dual tuning, I guess that's what they're doing. They're probably using it to balance out the sideband. I guess the Gates don't use that, and the Collins 20V don't use that either. But I guess if you made it higher Q, to suppress harmonics, I guess that's when you get into one sideband looking different from the other. Is probably the higher Q Pi network. So I guess with two sets of tuning, you could, like you say, stagger tune them. Be interesting to see the procedure for tuning that up. It's like you say, they probably feed a tone and watch for it. But they're, those broadcast transmitters, they're all concerned about the distortion, and fidelity, and all that. So much more than the ham rigs. So I guess that's something RCA's come up with. I had an old RCA transmitter a fella give me. It was that used 400s, but somebody robbed most of the parts out of it. So I went ahead and scrapped it, but I don't remember it having dual tuning or anything like that. It seemed like it just had a regular Pi network. John, I went by and checked on Terry. He's had surgery again on, I guess that was Thursday night. I was up there, I think, Thursday, and then Thursday night they had emergency surgery. So I went by to check on him again today, and he's still can't have any solid foods. He's still got a blockage even after the surgery. They patched a couple holes. They said he had an 8-inch tear in his stomach. So I can't imagine that, but that's what he was saying. Of course, he's probably on some high-powered stuff too. So, but it's not sounding good for Terry. They still, like I say, hadn't done anything for his blockage. But I'm talking to Terry, and you don't know if he's got it straight from the doctors, or they might have him on some painkillers or something. You're not getting the whole straight story. So send it on to Mir WF2U, WB4NKL.
Roger, WB4NKL. This is WF2U. We're the rest of the gang here. Well, good copy, and Don, I could barely copy, but knowing the ATD, you're lucky if you're getting about 40-45 watts out of it. And I have an ATD myself, and I use it for the old Transnet. And a lot of times, actually, when conditions were good, because it weighs more than an ART-13. It's the size of the ART-13 because it was a contract that the Navy made for a channelized transmitter about a certain size, and Bendix came up with the ATD, and Collins came up with the ATC, which is the ART-13 in another name. So there was a whole batch of ATDs made, but because of the ATC won and became much more useful, it was not used much, and most of them were available in surplus, traded for shipment to the Navy, and it was pretty cheap. So I have that with the dynamotor all wired up, and I use it quite a lot of times. It actually should have a nice modulation, and of course it's used with a Navy version of the World War II vintage microphone, the RS-38 microphone, and it puts out about 40 watt carrier, and it's heavier, as I said, than the ART-13, and it's only settable from preset for 4 channels. It's a pain in the neck to set it up, but completely different from the ART-13 that has 10 channels, easy to set up. Anyway, it's just an interesting piece of equipment. But too bad that the conditions are not that great, and you just disappearing almost in the noise sometimes. But Steve, the ATD is regular plate and screen modulated, so it should be single-sided. It might be just like that. I don't know, maybe selective taking or something, and it sounds like that. But anyway, that's what it is. So, Don, you want to try it again? N4YN, this is WFU.
I guess it's about a 1942 or 43 made Army rig for B-36s, I guess. It's got 4 tuning modules in it and an 810 panel, and I'm running about 50 watts. If it's sideband, it's my fault. Looks like it's a 2 casing now. I don't know. Yes, baby, I can do the rig, baby, and give you on this. Around you in 4 way.
The most problem is frequency stability. Yeah. Anyway, let's see here. Well, I'm glad you made it here anyway, and just you keep fiddling with it, you'll get handy with it. Let's see, and real fine on JPL and his Beatles items, and the NC303. So I don't know what items those were. When they got little bobbleheads or something. Yeah, I was listening to this thing on YouTube called the Old Tube Radio Network. The Old Tube Radio Network, and it's CBeers, and it's out in California, and this guy has a very elaborate setup, and he takes calls from right there around the neighborhood, people calling in on the radio, and he's taking people on the internet. He calls them SWLers. And he's got various SDR displays to watch and all this stuff. Well, today's topic was some of the old ham rigs that they're running, and they talked a lot about DX100s and Valiants. This one guy was actually running an HQ105, basically the HQ100 with a CB transmitter built in it, and it sounded pretty good, and a Warrior amplifier. I said, and these guys talk a lot like hams, but of course there's no call letters. It's all illegal and so forth, and hard to appreciate that. I don't know why they don't just go ahead and get their ham license. Just get onto this hamstudy.org, go down to the drugstore and take the test. Anyhow, let's see. I had another question about how to move those broadcast transmitters, and that big RCA that Brian's got. I think I saw somewhere on there it was 1,300 pounds or something, and he said it was about a foot too tall to get out the door. Well, I remember several years ago, him and I tried to get that FRR 24, and that was another 7-foot tall rack. I tried to get it in and out of our garage, and we had a refrigerator dolly, but even the refrigerator dolly wouldn't lean back far enough, because when you lean it back, it actually makes it taller until you go past the 0 point there. So he folded up, he kicked the legs forward and folded up and let it drop down, and he was screaming on the way out the door, but he was able to control it and hold it up and get it out the door. But now that just weighs, I think, a fraction of what that transmitter would. So I just wonder if there is a special dolly like that. I think what needs to be done is just lay it down flat on some kind of a dolly and then stand it up when you get outside. So that's the question for you, Cliff. WB4NKL, N4LQ.
You don't want to talk to me no more?
Oh, there you go again. Sorry about that. Go ahead.
K4QE back.
W4JPL here. Steve, if I had feelings, I'd be hurt. But Tony will tell you, I have no feelings left. I'm done. I'm confused. I copied a little bit in for YN this time, but copy's erratic for some reason. Maybe I would have to open it. I tried lower sideband too. I didn't hear anything on lower sideband. So, fellers, I'm going to make this my final transmission for the night, but I'll be listening for a little while. I'm going to go make myself a cup of tea. I got for some reason, upset stomach tonight, which I haven't had in a very, very long time. Maggie had me take her out to Smithfield's, and I had their chicken tenders, and apparently they're not so tender on my tummy. K4QE, W4JPL, God bless, 73.
All right, good night, John. And sorry not feeling well. And I'll keep it rolling here because I just literally walked into the office and I don't know what the topic of conversation is. So I'll keep it rolling. Over to you, Cliff. WB4NKL, K4QE.
Okay, K4QE, WB4NKL. 73's John, and Tony, I had some noise coming there. Didn't copy too much of that one for some reason. Don, I had a lot better copy on you that go around. Sounded pretty good, and I'm on a Hammerlin HQ140, so I have to retune you just a little bit, but I'm not like Steve. I'm not synchronized to where I lose you altogether. I just have to retune a little bit, and the audio was pretty good that time. I ordered some test leads off of Amazon, and there was a car pulled up here a couple minutes ago and delivered them here on Sunday night. Looked like some man and his wife in their personal car, looked like. Delivered Amazon packages at 8:30 Sunday night. That's something. Steve, I don't know of an easy way to move those transmitters. I've moved some of the Collins 20Vs, which are about 1,100 pounds or so. The easiest way is to remove all the iron, and that reduces the weight by about half. And then I don't know of any other, just a furniture dolly, or sometimes you have to, I guess we'd have to lay them all the way on their sides. I've got a garage door that's 8-foot clearance coming into my shop here, so I don't have any trouble moving them in here. 7 foot wouldn't be any problem, I don't think. But there's no easy way like moving a refrigerator, except a lot heavier. I'm gonna go ahead and get out 2 C-73s and go in and warm up, and hopefully by tomorrow night it'll be a little bit warmer. I can get on and stay on a little bit. Looking forward to some warm above freezing weather. So go ahead, Mayor. WF2U's WB4NKL.
Very good. WB4NKL in the group WF2U. Yeah. Well, good night, John, and feel better. Good night. And let's see. Also, Tony. Oh, Tony is up already. All right. Cliff also. 73 up to good night. And it was good talking to all. Tonight, and I'm glad that my audio was tolerable this time. I have to get the DX100B out of there, so we put it on the workbench. So I have to see my chiropractor on my bi-weekly visit, and maybe put the values up there instead. I have to make sure that all the cobwebs are out of it, and not really smoking and snacking, marking. So we'll see. Anyway, what else? Yeah, Don, you were pretty weak, but I copied some of, well, actually most of what you were saying. You came up a little bit. But, yeah, it's almost a losing battle to run that kind of power here on this band. Sometimes it's okay, but conditions we're not very friendly for low power tonight. So, yeah, everybody's kind of abandoning their positions here. Then I'll say 73 also. I'll stay a few minutes, and if Steve wants to close the neck, I'll also get out of here. So let's see if, Don, you can still copy and whether we still can copy you. So pick it up. N4YN. This is WFU.
Okay. Don, N4YN, are you still around?
Yeah, this is good. You're quit. I'm on this 991 and ready back. Well, still about 40 bucks, 15, 7.
Yeah, I hear you, but kind of hard to copy, a little bit too weak. It takes a good 100 watts or so to get by on this band. I think at least 100 watts. That's what I'm running, that kind of a Valiant type thing or something. So did you have anything else, Don? I'm going to go ahead and shut the net down. I'm glad you checked in, though. Go ahead.
Okay. Well, no, I don't. And, we'll try to get another night, maybe do better. About 31, 41, about what I've got on this frequency on AM. Do a little better on sideband. 73s, everybody. M4LQ and 4YN.
Okay, very good, very good. Okay, we got you on the 991 now. And Mir, have a good time at the chiropractor tomorrow. And Cliff, we'll talk to you in the morning, I guess. Hopefully you can get on the air. It's not too cold. And so I guess we'll go ahead and close the net down. Good night, John and Tony and Cliff and Mir and Don. 73, thanks for checking in. See you next time. This is N4LQ closing the net.
All right, Don, hello to you if you can hear me, and I'm not hearing you very well at all, but hello to you, glad to meet you, and good night to everyone, and see you tomorrow night from K4QE.
And we'd make things more power up here. So 73 and good night. M4LQ, WFTU Cliff.
By the way, Mir, the audio on this transmitter is much, much better. It sounds great. K4QE.
Thank you, Tony. Yeah, I expect it to be better. This is a military radio from the 1950s, designed by college, and for the 100 watts that it's supposed to be putting out, it weighs a ton. I need to use a horse to pick up the transmitter. I cannot pick it up by myself, and that's it weighs about 90 pounds. But anyway, 73. Have a good night. You sound good. K4Q. This is WFTU. Good night.